talking to a pair of people who run one, and they have over 500 members, and they've even had like no one show up to events. I'm like, okay, I feel better now.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of it is they want you to pay to play. There's a lot that's going on and into it. So, we'll record it, and whatever happens. Whoever shows up shows up.
We will use it for content. I could even turn it into podcast episodes. We could do whatever we want with it.
Exactly.
Were you able to access the one from the networking I sent you?
I know you sent me the Google Drive. I haven't even tried yet, I'll be honest. Okay. Yeah.
I just want to make sure you at least got it.
Yeah, if I have any issues, I'll let you know, but I did get it. Mm-hmm. Okay. I do recall seeing the email.
That's the way I've been doing even with my podcast episodes, because then at least it's also a backup, but it's easier than attaching and wondering if people see it. Hi, Samantha. Welcome. I'll wait a minute or so before we officially get started to see if anyone else is going to show up live. How are you? Oh, but there's Kat. Oh, there's a couple people. Yay, we have people. It's always more fun with people in the room.
It is.
Hello. Hi, Connie. Hi, Kat. We are just waiting a minute or so to see who else comes in before we get started. I would say this: if you have any big questions or little questions, I guess they don't have to be big questions about YouTube, if you want to drop them in the chat while we wait, that way we can see if there's anything specific people are looking for. I'm going to check my email to make sure nobody... And can we also just say, and I probably said this before, like people who send you emails saying, I saw you on this podcast, I'm a podcast booker, I can give you this, and this, and these are my clients, right? I don't know you, it's a random email, and then I don't respond, and then they send another one. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. That pisses me off, and I'm not going to respond to you, or I'm going to respond to what you don't want to hear. Like, I hate that second one, because it's like, and what's even worse, on LinkedIn, I've started getting it, and it's a second or a third message. And it's like, guys, if I didn't respond, leave me alone.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to do that to people you know. Like, I know I miss messages, I miss emails, right? But to people you don't know, when you're sending a random spam email, oh, sorry, I just had to say that.
No, I agree.
It's so what I'm like, I don't know what marketing school you went to, but they were wrong to tell you to do that.
They were wrong.
Elaine Turso posted something this morning that just busted me up and reminded me of what you just said. She goes, did I just get pitch slapped?
Yeah.
Like, pitch slapped. Oh my God, I love that.
Pitch slapped all the time. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and that is another thing I want to like get on my soapbox and scream. Don't start a pitch email by telling me what I'm doing wrong.
Oh.
That first of all, I don't think any woman likes that. Because we've gotten that before, and we're not going to positively respond.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Anyway. Hi, everyone. I'm just complaining about spam emails, but we are here to talk about YouTube. So I am going to record this and hand it over to our fabulous guest speaker. But again, this is a small group. If you guys have questions or anything, feel free to speak up, to put it in the chat, whatever works for you. I'm going to hit record since I just said
recording in progress.
Alrighty. Are you ready to go?
I'm all set to go. I don't do slides. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that my trainings are always strategic. They're always about strategy. It's not the tech. It's not the how-to and that, because that stuff changes. Like, you can literally record that today and tomorrow it is different. And between Google and ChatGPT, it's very easy to get that how to do stuff. This is more of why to do things. This is more of strategic direction and making sure that everything is in alignment with your vision, mission, and goals. So, with that said, if you missed the podcaster party a couple weeks ago, my name is Tamira Hamilton, and I am a business consultant focusing on digital marketing strategies for professionals, experts, and coaches and solopreneurs. Basically, anyone who has like that corporate professional experience is looking to translate that and monetize that online. And so today, what I've prepared is a mishmash of things. I always like to update my presentations before I present them to make sure they are actually the most timely, and the most relevant. So this is 2026 YouTube growth strategies for podcasters that actually work, right? Because you'll hear people give you a lot of strategies. And one of the key differences, again, between me and others is I'm going to really be focused on what is working now, but not only what is working now, but what is going to continue to work for some time. I'm not going to just give you something that's going to work today, but might not work in a couple days because the algorithm shifted. And that's the difference between strategy and focusing on tactics. The tactics are going to be more like chasing viral trends in that. And so, yeah, you might hear some tactics here and there, but we're really going to stick to strategy. Okay. So, I remember one of the questions from the podcaster party, or one of the things that came up was on SRT files. That is an example of something that's more of like a tactic. That's not really strategy. And so you may know of things like that, and they may come to your mind during this presentation, but just know that I am aware of them. And the reason I'm not bringing them up right now is to keep this very kind of beginner focused, right? And not too complicated and really make you feel overwhelmed. My whole style of coaching is all about first point of breakdown and not hitting you with 12, 15 different things that you need to correct all at once. So the big thing to know about you,
I think we all appreciate that too.
oh, good. Thank you. I was that coach once early on in my career, and a really good coach taught me to not do that, corrected me, and I haven't done it since. So, here's the thing: YouTube is not only a search engine; it's the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the largest search engine, which is Google. And you'll probably recall that from the podcaster party, right? And so the number one reason you want to be on YouTube is discoverability, because YouTube is going to potentially bring you new listeners, and not only new listeners, but new listeners with intent. People who are there for a reason, because YouTube is the largest how to university. People go to YouTube with a different intent than they have when they go over to Facebook or Instagram, for example. So people go to YouTube much like they go to Pinterest for recipes and that. But I remember when I started in the world of beauty, there were these sisters that I knew, and they had started a YouTube channel, and they were telling me all these things I needed to start creating content, right? And so they learned by going on YouTube and searching for things like how to create your own light box, because back then Amazon wasn't full of light boxes that you could buy. And so that's an example. A more personal example is when I worked in banking and we had corporate apparel. And one of the ways I branded myself was like a department store I worked at in high school and college. The managers would all wear this red carnation, and that's how you would know that they were a manager. So I would buy scarves that were corporate branded and wear them as an ascot. Well, to learn how to fold those properly, I went to YouTube and pulled up videos to learn various ways to fold those scarves. Yesterday, someone recommended some spray so that the lace on the wig lays down. So I was looking up videos on how to use this spray and get better at making so that my wigs look better when I wear them. None of you ladies have that problem. That's fine, but maybe a little TMI, just sharing. Okay, that's what YouTube is. It's where people go to find information, very specific questions, and they treat it like a search engine. So it's not just another social platform. It's a place where people are looking for what your podcast solves for them. I always get this quote wrong, so I'm gonna try and look it up really quickly. It's Perry Marshall quote about drills. It's something like, nobody who bought a drill actually wanted a drill, they wanted a hole. So if you want to sell drills, you create content about making holes, right? And so you want to think about that throughout this presentation, and as you are booking for your podcast and titling your episodes, and what, even the questions, the guest, and how you format your podcast, is what is it solving each and every episode? What problem or problems are you solving? So even think about the title of this: 2026 YouTube growth strategies. I could have stopped there, or I could have just done YouTube growth strategies for podcasters, but I added 2026 to make it timely and relevant, so that you know that when you come across my video compared to other videos on YouTube, that this is current, it's relevant right now, today, not 7 years ago. And for who? This is specifically for podcasters and for extra zhuzh that actually work. So this isn't, some BS, right? Those are some of my favorite books by Dan Kennedy, The No BS Way to Marketing and things like that. So I add that on the end, and so now you've got a nice captivating title that makes people want to click through to your video, right? And you can do that same thing with your podcast episode titles, okay? So, we already talked a little bit about Facebook and Instagram. People are browsing, right? They're really there to be more social. They're there to see what's going on with your kids, get to know you kind of more on a personal basis. If you are a pet parent, see you interact with your pets and things like that. And, podcasts are subscriber listening mode. I see podcasts because you're putting these two things between, on your way to work. It's, while you're on the treadmill, for me, often while I'm cleaning or doing busy work, I will have that podcast playing in the background. So it's subscriber listening mode, right? And YouTube is intent and search mode. But we know that YouTube is giving podcasts a prominent display, and it's a great way to get that discoverability because of all the things that we've talked about. So here's the thing I want you to understand. You're not just posting episodes. You're building a library where people can find you when they are looking for answers to some of everything that I've just said. Okay, I'll say it again. You're not just posting episodes. You are building a library people can find when they are looking for answers. Okay, so here's the number one issue for podcasters, right? The biggest challenge is wanting to show up, right? Women don't want to commit to video, right? Like, I went and I put on a little concealer, and like these eyelashes almost didn't even happen because I usually don't wear lashes that have this much hair. And it's like, oh my God, that's a lot, right? And I haven't worn them in so long. It was like a whole fiasco. And I say that because those are the things that often keep us from wanting to be on video, and we prefer to be on podcast because it doesn't matter what we look like. However, video is having that video footage of the podcast being recorded is key to helping drive subscribers and growth in 2026. So I want you to write that down. It's not just audio anymore. The video can help push more subscribers to you because video is the next best thing to being right across from someone at the table. And one of the things that prohibits us from wanting to do that is, like me, I might get up and have a brilliant idea, and I just sit down at my laptop and pound it out while looking a complete mess. Like, I just would not even want anybody to see me looking like, what do you call that? A troglodyte, like a cave dwelling person, especially living.
I call it when I look like a slob kebab. That's what
Yeah. I might not have socks on. I might have one on, one off. I might, I don't even want to describe how bad I sometimes look.
I think that's a great perspective because I don't know how many women have said, like, oh, I have to be ready, and oh, I have to do this. And it's like, yeah, I know we don't like looking at the reflection back because it's not perfect, but we can't let that be the hurdle when video is number one in all of podcasting now.
It's going to be the next best conversion to you being across from somebody or on the phone with somebody. It's going to be the next top converting is video, so you can really grow your subscriber base with YouTube is what I'm presenting to you. Okay. And so the great thing, like Julie and I are discussing back and forth here, is right now the market is so tired of overproduced. They are tired of overly done up, and they are tired of what? AI. They want to see real human beings, right? Now, because I want my videos to last longer, I do put in some minimal effort, but I don't go all out with the glam like I used to with having to have the perfect makeup and perfect hair and that. And here's the thing, often what the content that goes viral and resonates the most with your audience right now is going to be just in those moments where something came to you and you just do what I call riffed on it face to face in the camera, like in Instagram story or Snapchat or TikTok stories or Facebook stories, which by the way, you can turn into reels. We're going to talk a lot about repurposing, resharing, and redistributing. So yes, you want to still record those podcast episodes being produced. You also want to record some behind the scenes so that you can incorporate that into a YouTube strategy that is both long form and short form content. Okay. So that means YouTube shorts, right? And so we'll talk about that in a second. The most important thing is by not understanding what YouTube really is, you could be missing out on the ability to be discovered, right? So we talked about what not showing up looks like: audio only, no video presence, but video exists, and then there's no optimization. So that means people can't find you. Okay. So you want your videos to be optimized. And I'm going to give you some tips here today. And I also, if you have not downloaded yet, I have a YouTube checklist that outlines every step I took that helped me get my first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Okay. And that's YouTube subscribers. I do not have a podcast. I just got to be clear on that and disclose that. Okay. And you want consistency. The YouTube algorithm favors consistency. I'm not big on teaching you to chase the algorithm. So when I do mention the algorithm, that is proven over time. That is consistent. That is a house rule. Okay. All the other stuff changes from time to time. Right. And not having strategy, not connecting YouTube to leads to offers. I will be honest, in all the podcasts I've been a guest on over probably 10 years, 11 years now, going on 11 years, you don't get a lot of leads from podcast up until the time that you do. And you never know when that time is going to be, right? It's once you get, a lot of downloads, like when and you get on that one page on iTunes. But until then, there's still a lot of reasons why to do that podcast. And one of my favorites is the Secret Podcast, which really helps people to see what it's like to work with you. And that does convert. That converts to leads very well. I know because I've converted to leads and become clients of several high ticket coaches myself because of their secret podcasts. And so you can still incorporate YouTube in that. It just flows a little differently. So now we're going to move into my top 3 pillars or core framework for YouTube for podcasters. Number 1 is optimization is everything. YouTube is very forgiving and you can go back and re-optimize at any time. You do not have to get it perfect today. I'm not going to go deep into optimization right now because the checklist, if you follow that checklist, your videos will be optimized. Okay. And you want to use really good strong keywords, and where you want to use them is in the title, the description. I like to do the tags, but the tags just statistically are not as important as the keywords actually being in the description. Okay. You want to, if you are uploading from your laptop or desktop, you want the file name of the video you're uploading to match the title as closely as possible. Okay. It doesn't have to be 100%, but you definitely want your core keywords or the long tail keyword in that title. And you can actually optimize for more than one long tail keyword at a time.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that. I upload to YouTube from Descript.
Okay.
So I assume I can't do anything with the file name that way. So should I be downloading and uploading for better SEO?
That depends. Okay. Because when I've uploaded from iMovie on my Mac, I still have the opportunity to change the title so that it meets what I want it to over on YouTube. And the reason I'm hesitating is because you don't want to consume too much space on your device. And yes, you can delete it. Right. But so if space is not an issue, it wouldn't hurt, and then you can delete it right away. But it's not the most important. It's one of those bonus ones that helps. Gotcha. Because when you do it from your phone, it doesn't really have a file name.
Right.
So
okay.
One of the things we didn't.
I'll play with it in Descript and see if it allows me to do anything. Because I know in Descript you put in with it goes with it title, description, tags, all from Descript into YouTube.
Oh yeah, then I would fill all that out.
Okay.
Yep.
And I do. I just didn't know, Okay.
Yeah. I would think that Descript is doing much like iMovie does. It gets all of that, and then you can just put it over in there. And then the other thing is, like I said, YouTube is very forgiving, so you can always go back in and change the title. You can change the description, the tags, and all of that at any time, right? The other thing, and we talked a little bit about this, and so I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, is the thumbnail. The thumbnails are important. You don't want them to be cluttered. You want them to be pretty minimal and no more than 6 words. And it shouldn't be the title. It should give them a reason to click through. Now, someone like Mr. B spends tens of millions testing thumbnails. We don't have that luxury, so we just kind of figure it out and keep going. So the key message here is that you don't have to get it perfect today. You just keep playing with it and you keep figuring it out and keep going. Okay. My second pillar is
I was just gonna say I've actually gone back and updated thumbnails when I because I was putting the whole title and a bunch of too many pictures, so it's okay to go back.
Yeah.
I also dropped the link that you can get Tamira's YouTube checklist she's been
mentioning
in the chat. And I'm also going to drop the link. I can't remember who was at the event last week or month or whatever that was that she spoke before. So I'll put the link in the chat to YouTube of her speaking there too. So you can listen to her. We do talk a lot more specifics about the thumbnails.
Yeah. So, the second pillar is strategy, right? I always say strategy first. You have to be intentional with everything you're doing with these platforms, whether they are search and intent based or they are social first. Okay. So you want to know what you're doing and how it fits into your overall marketing strategy. And I'm going to give you a real example from one of my clients who is soon going to be a case study. And by the way, this is why I love AI, because it allows me to do things that I've been wanting to do and not been able to do before. And one of those is to really be able to catalog and archive exactly what I'm doing with my clients and give me some great and powerful case studies. So just so you're aware, and one of the ways I do that is I record all of our sessions and use the transcripts from YouTube to do that. So I just gave you that for free. Like, that is big money right there. So sorry, I just had to stop and share that. So Theta came to me and she wanted to initially, for the reasons we've talked about here today, she didn't want to be on video. She wanted to do a faceless YouTube channel. And I kind of talked her out of it, but made it feel like her idea. So she is the face of her YouTube channel, and we have doubled her subscribers multiple times with the strategy that we have in place. So she started with just a pure monetization strategy. And the number one reason I didn't want her to focus on that strategy was because her business itself wasn't to the point that she could just be focused on a pure monetization strategy on YouTube. Are you following me? Does that make sense to everyone when I say that, what I mean? I mean, she wasn't collecting enough leads, making money in her sleep on autopilot, having people that where there was a wait list of people who wanted to do business with her. It's not that her business was doing bad at all. Not at all. She was doing very well in business, but there wasn't this massive overflow to say, okay, well, now let's focus on a monetization stream from YouTube. She could still had the opportunity to create home base, which is self monetization, which is it doesn't matter if the platform pays me or not. I can still make money leveraging this platform, which is always base zero for my clients because of what I just said. What the platform gives, the platform can take away at any time. And then that can really cause this to happen in your income, or even your doors go cerrado, which means closed in Spanish. So to give you more flexibility and control over your business, everything needs to tie back to your business strategy, not just what the platform wants, not where the platform and the trends and the market is driving you, but what is best for you and your business. Okay. So everything needs to fit in your overall marketing strategy. That's how it connects, how it can generate leads for you. How are you going to move those leads through the buyer's journey? How are you going to turn complete strangers into buyers, right? And not only buyers, how are you going to ascend them from that to, and in your case, subscribers? How are you going to take them from subscribers to buying? And that's whether it's your product or someone else's product. Okay. How are you going to move those leads through your buyer's journey is one of the most critical pieces that I want you to think about every single time you go to upload a video. Where are the people at the beginning of this video, and where am I trying to move them to by the end of the video? Are they a stranger and I want them to become a subscriber? Are they a subscriber and now I want to move them to a paid subscriber? Are they a paid subscriber and now I want to move them to a coaching program? Okay. And that it doesn't have to be those exact things, but just as an example. And the great thing about long form YouTube is you can have several call to actions throughout the video, just like Theta does, where you address various points of the buyer's journey. So you can first ask for them to become a subscriber to your channel. Then you can tell them to go and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or Spotify or wherever, right? So you can have multiple call to actions throughout the video. And that's one of the things I recommend. And one of the things we did with Theta was we made sure that those call to actions were beginning well before most people jump off of the video. You don't want to wait until the end of your podcast. You don't want to wait until the end of your video to make your ask, because most people have already exited before the very end. Yes, you want to definitely ask. The longer they watch the video, the bigger the ask you can make, is what I'm saying. The longer they stay on the video, the bigger the ask. So your asks are, I'm not saying the bad word. That thick Midwest accent.
We get it, your ass.
Yes, that ask. And I got that whole nasal thing going on because it's winter.
I think this is really important because, one, I think a lot of podcasters wait till the end to give a CTA, and they don't want to give too many, which I always tell them, don't give, especially as a guest, don't give too many. You want to have a good solid evergreen one. But it is important to like mention throughout.
Yes.
If there are things you can tell them to do that don't equate to buying to them in their head, which is hit subscribe or follow, go sign up for my free event. Like it can, like you said, build. And I really love how you said that, because even if you don't have a podcast, any video you're doing should be doing that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us don't do that. We say something at the end.
And that's because we've been trained that we have to earn the right, but you're earning the right all the way along. And it follows the old school sales thought of always be closing, asking those little closes along the way and getting them used to nodding their head and saying yes. Not that you're being a sleazy, slimy salesperson, but because of psychology. And that is how the human mind works. Okay. So all of this translated for podcasters is YouTube is not separate from your podcast. It is an extension of your podcast ecosystem. Okay. And pillar 3 is consistency. One of the things you will see in the channel billboard photo, a lot of old school YouTubers in particular will tell you what day of the week to expect new videos from them. And so you want consistency in the day of the week or the day of the month that people should expect new podcast episodes from you. There was a podcast that I used to absolutely love when they were consistent, but then you never knew when they were going to fall off because they overcommitted and overdid too much, that they would get burned out and then they would disappear. And I think that killed what could have been a very big opportunity for them because they were not consistent in getting that podcast produced and out. So it's better to even do a little bit less or just do it all and record it and bank it and then stagger it for it to come out so that you have that consistency, but then make sure that you're batch creating consistently enough that there's not big gaps and lags in between. Okay. So you want to be willing and committed to being consistent, as we've discussed. And YouTube is a long game with a long shelf life. We talked about this in the podcaster party, how there were videos from 2014 that were still sending people to a business that I'd shuttered in 2018 up until 2020, 2021, when I finally just took those videos offline. YouTube is your 24/7, 365. And I've only known of YouTube going down once or twice. And I've been on YouTube since 2006. 24/7, 365 discoverability channel. That is,
and it is now the number one podcast listening watching platform. It now beats out Apple and Spotify.
I did not know that. Thank you for that. That is very powerful, right? And we all know one of the reasons I still want to push you toward video is the whole Netflix thing and podcasting and Spotify and video podcasts being on Spotify and Netflix. So, you can really get some great exposure in that.
And that actually recently I found out the Riverside now offers podcast hosting. And I think a big part of that is because they're like, wait, Netflix wants podcasts? We're offering how to record, how to live stream, how to edit. We need to offer all of it so people come here as a one-stop shop. So I think we're also seeing other businesses and softwares switching to video in ways to meet this new demand of where podcasting is going, which includes Netflix. And yeah, if you're not doing video, not that we're all wanting to be on Netflix and that's even attainable, everything changes, but it's like, why don't sell yourself out of an opportunity, especially if you have recorded video and you just haven't used it.
And I'm going to take it one step further. You know what I watch on my TV more than Netflix or any other TV channel or network? YouTube.
Yep.
YouTube is my favorite channel to watch. I watch everything from worship videos in the morning, my kids, my grandkids, and I haven't decided what I'm supposed to call this baby, but it's my youngest cousin's baby, and his mom is gone and our grandma is gone, and I babysit, and I'm kind of filling in a role, and we just haven't figured that part out. The baby will let us know. So they all have their own little YouTube Kids on my TV. I bank more hours on YouTube hands down than any other streaming service. And so that's what you have to understand. Even Instagram is beginning to play with being able to watch their videos and their reels through your TV screen. Okay.
And I will say, I don't have data off the top of my head, but for sure with millennials and Gen Zs, YouTube is basically what the cable box used to be for us.
Oh,
That is
and
the
Gen
TV.
Alpha, like I said,
And
that's
even more so.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I often watch YouTube things while I'm on my computer working and maybe playing in the background. But, when you look at it, it makes you feel like you're with them. Like AB Polar Show is really good at that. The way that they're set up, you feel like you're an extension of the table they're sitting at talking to you. So just think about those things in terms of the video. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be, super high quality editing. It's about how people feel when they look at it and being able to think about people looking at it on a computer versus on a TV. So it is just kind of the mindset around that. I think we're so used to our phone with social media that it is different with YouTube because people are watching that consistently in other places.
And in a world of AI, where AI is everywhere, and you can create a podcast completely with AI with your voice, the video makes people know that you are real and that it's real people talking and having a conversation, not AI generated.
Yep.
Not and I don't see anything wrong with the AI generated, but some people just want to have that human connection.
Right. And being imperfect and not over editing and not worrying about the quality tells people right away that I'm a real person, I'm not generated. And yeah, we can watch that, but I too sometimes when I look at a video and I question whether it's AI, that makes me not want to watch it, right? I want to know this is a real person saying it directly.
Exactly.
And so think about that. That's why it's okay to show up however you are, because that's telling people you are real.
Exactly. Oh, this is good, Julie. I didn't even expect to plan on going there, but we did, girl. Okay. So there are a lot of YouTube analytics. The number one that I want you to focus on and make it simple is watch time. Watch time is the real currency. It's paying attention. YouTube is paying attention to how long people stay on your video. Okay. So to translate that to the world of podcasts, and I'm going to speed up here a little bit so we can get some Q&A in, is your hook and pacing beat perfect lighting. And that's why having segments and why podcasts are perfect for YouTube, because most podcasters have segments. It's something I've worked with clients on, is creating their podcast flow and how they should segment it. And it will increase you podcast. People tend to listen to those, I would say, at least 2/3 of the way through. Otherwise, you might need to look at reformatting your podcast and reconfiguring it to your ideal client. Like John Lee Dumas is famous for, his ideal client had like a 30 or 45-minute drive to work, and so he made sure his podcast fit within that time period, right? And so your it's watch time is how much of your video they are consuming, and the closer to 100%, the better. Okay. And so typically with a client, I instruct them to start with shorter videos. However, with a podcast, because of the way a podcast is formatted and segmented, you should be able to get some pretty good watch time right away, because people know that it is a show, and that's part of the consistency, is making sure that your podcasts stay within a certain time period. And if it goes over, make it 2 episodes, and now you have a series and you've got an open loop, and people tend to come back for that loop to get closed, doing that serial and episodic content. Okay, so that's another free bonus I just gave you. Okay, shorts is going to be your fastest growth lever. YouTube shorts is what is going to get you in front of the most amount of new eyeballs. Okay, it's the front door, and the episodes is the living room. And that's why having that really good solid repurposing, resharing, and redistribution strategy is key. And recording and the video of you recording that podcast episode is what you can quickly and easily make shorts of, using something like Opus Clips. And I think that is in the checklist, but just in case, Julie can drop it in the chat. my link, my affiliate link for that is tamirahamilton.com/opus. OPUS. Okay. It will do it for you very, very quickly. I like to actually record things on TikTok for that reason, because it will give you some of the clips, but it also allows you to clip and get the captions and that on there also. Okay. So YouTube Shorts, it's one of the ways. I think we almost tripled Theta's subscribers in a week by going really heavy and going to phase 2 of her YouTube channel development and build out by putting up a bunch of shorts, because she does this daily video of the day that's like a positive and inspirational moment in the morning, and she's been uploading those, so many a week, and it's just growing her channel like crazy, to the point that now she's got people showing up and buying courses and workshops from her that she's never talked to, and she doesn't know who they are. That's the power of YouTube. Okay. And so the smart repurposing, it's all about working smarter, not harder. You can repurpose podcast clips, behind the scenes, reels, TikToks, live trainings, guest appearances. Don't forget, if you are hosting a podcast or several like Julie, when you are a guest on someone else's, make sure you have permission to upload that also as a episode of your own. If you follow the what is the family, Todd, he went to prison and got out.
The Chrisleys.
Yes, Todd Chrisley. I used to love his show, right? His oldest daughter, Lindsay, she has her own podcast. She's on a podcast with one of the girls from Teen Mom on MTV, and that girl has her own podcast. So what they sometimes do, and they did it recently with this whole story about the Chrisleys and their whole family drama, is they did an episode, a series, but it was an episode on not Julie, on Lindsay's podcast, on the podcast Ice Cream Social, between the two of them, and then one on Kai's podcast, and then I think they did the finale on Lindsay's. And the Chrisleys do that amongst each other because they all have podcasts. So think about how you can collaborate and co-create to get content, but always still own your masters and be able to reproduce and do what you want. Like the training a couple weeks ago, I asked Julie, like, it's great that you gave me the YouTube, but I'd also like the video so that I can do and actually live what I tell all of you to do. Okay. So,
and there's a lot of ways to do that.
Yeah.
And people do episode swaps where, like, I interview them on mine, they interview me on theirs. Then I've also had where Alicia Galati is one example. We were on each other's podcast, and she came to me and said, "It's the end of the year. I'm tired. Can you give me my episode on yours to use on my podcast?" And I'm like, "Why wouldn't I? I mean, I'm going to be on it again." Yes,
Exactly.
edit me out and stuff, but there's no downside for it to be used in other places, with people you trust. But also the same thing with YouTube. I have a playlist on my channels that are all my guest episodes, directly linking to all of their YouTube channels, because that boosts theirs and my channel for activity that way. And it's also a great way to go, I was on a podcast, let me go find it. Like, you have a playlist right there, so it's easy to
Exactly.
organize too.
Exactly. And it just builds up your credibility. Being a podcast guest, being a podcast host, it really gives you, it's almost like being an author. It gives you an extra layer of credibility. And so you want to upload them natively, remove any logos or watermarks, and optimize for your YouTube keywords. Okay. Out of the big three, optimization matters the most. It's going to be in the title, the description, and the playlist, like we've talked about. And then my unique angle is you need to be saying your keywords when you are speaking in the video. If your title, if you title it cats and dogs but talk giraffes, it's just not going to be a good match. I'm actually quoting myself here. I'm like, what did I say?
That's an important thing, because I think a lot of us, myself included, have it recorded, have it edited, and then we think about, well, what's the title for this? What's the description? What are the keywords? When, especially with your solo episodes, with that content that is directly for leads and buying, those should be planned the opposite. You should be like, what are the keywords? What is my title before we record? And so I just want to reframe that for people to realize that is important. It's not something I'm good at. And so I really want to stick that, because I think we can't do that as much with guest interviews. I mean, you can sometimes, but your solo episodes are really what are the biggest lead magnets, and so those are the places you want to optimize before you even record it.
Yeah. And I would definitely agree with that. And I still do a check afterwards. I run the transcript through Chat GPT or through AI and have it tell me, assess and analyze this transcript and tell me what this is about. What are the keywords that I should be optimizing for? Just to see how in alignment I am. And if it's not where I want it to be alignment wise, with a podcast, you don't really want to go messing around and changing the title and description that much elsewhere other than YouTube. But you can also now develop a repurposing, resharing, and redistribution strategy to use short form videos to drive them to the longer form video. So it's not the end of the world.
And would you say that there's a magic number, like for every one full length video, how many shorts should we be putting up?
There's no magic number. As much, okay. I wouldn't go crazy and do like 100 unless it. I mean, if it's an episode that, and not even if it's an episode that's like really viral and getting a lot of views, I wouldn't. But I would say a good 3 to 5, if you can, per video, and try and make them where the angles are moving if it's between you and a guest and different things like that. But those talking head videos of just you just kind of talking do very well, just like especially like from your car. You can even go and just record in your car and talk about the episode or introduce the episode and ask people to go watch it. There's so many different things that you can do. It's all about being creative. Okay. So
I love that perspective because I think a lot of us clip up the episode itself to promote it, but we don't have to. It can be us talking about the episode. It doesn't have to be from the episode itself. So I like that,
especially if you can make it drama, right? Like, who was it? Someone was just interviewing an older comedian, and they wouldn't say who, but they said they kicked them off like after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to know who that is. So what does everybody do?
And it wasn't even their podcast he said it on. It was him guesting on someone else's.
Exactly.
Viral, and now everybody is going to their podcast to see who has been on it. Who is he talking?
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be your content. It can be said somewhere else.
Yeah. So those little Easter eggs, as they call them. So we already talked about tags don't count as much as people think. And the big thing is title for keywords, description for conversions, and spoken words for alignment. We already talked about thumbnails. And the hidden advantage is the playlist. Playlists are another opportunity to rank. And so you can rank your episodes by topic, by audience, by format. And my favorite is by episodic, if it's serial content. SERIAL, not CEREAL. Where SERIAL, not CEREAL, right? Yeah. So it's series. That serial content is it because it creates that open loop, the Zeitger effect, where people keep coming back because they want to close the loop. So that the playlists keep people in your ecosystem longer and will increase your watch time. And that's why if your podcast format is 15 minutes, but somehow you get somebody in front of you like me and you end up at 45 minutes, break it up into 3 episodes. And now you've got that serial content, and people tend to come back and subscribe from that. Okay. So
but I also like that because like on my pet podcast, I've had an hour and a half recording before, and I've had some success and some not by chopping it up. But I like what you said because I can also go into YouTube and create a playlist for that. So if someone finds one, they're going to see the others, and that would cause them to really do it, even if they're not back to back in terms of publication dates. So it can help. It sounds like it can help. Playlists can help with a lot of different organizations for you.
And in this ecosystem, I don't want to get too deep into they savor my clients. You can upload the long form video, and then you can still break that long form video up into 3 videos and upload those 3 videos. And then you can still take the short, 1/3 of the video and even make it into shorter videos. Like you can really do some things. You can really make some moves.
So basically, it's like figuring out what that structure is, and then utilizing the content you have, or that you are creating,
exactly,
to the fullest. I mean, I think a lot of us are sitting on a lot of content we have not used fully.
Exactly. Because I'm telling you,
I do want to mention this really quick. I forgot. Kat asked a question early on about renaming your YouTube channel.
Yeah, you can do that. It's very easy to do.
Okay.
It's very easy to do. In fact, based on time, I'm going to just cut it here and open it to questions, because I can always come back some other time.
You've given us lots, so that's good. I do want to. You talked about the 3 pillars. I think I missed what you called number 2. I have optimization,
strategy,
and strategy. Thank you.
Yep, strategy first.
Okay, anybody have questions? Anything they want to ask? Everybody's thinking. Yeah, go ahead, Miranda.
I'm just wondering about short videos. What is short?
Shorts are YouTube's answer to TikTok videos, which historically were at one point only 15 seconds. But, they made their way up to 10 minutes. Most people think of shorts as a minute or less. I think on YouTube it's up to like 90 seconds you can create a short. So the best short strategy is going to drive people to your longer form videos, and that's why I like it for podcasting and repurposing, resharing those clips from longer videos
to create 90 seconds that get posted,
like those.
I think YouTube now is anything under 3 minutes you upload directly goes to shorts. Anything over 3 minutes gets added to videos.
Yes.
So it's actually something YouTube does. If you upload it based on how long it is, they put it in one place or another. So under 3 minutes, which is nice because that's also what Instagram has been. So I often use the same clips in both places, even if I tweak them. But you can, but they're always changing. But I believe last time what I saw, I put up something that was 2 minutes, 45 seconds and it went to shorts.
And the thing to remember with shorts is shorts are always going to be vertical. They're not going to be horizontal. Your longer form video, you can still do either horizontal or vertical. And now
for short, you want it horizontal, not vertical?
You want it vertical, up and down, not
vertical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so just think about how you see a reel on Instagram.
Right.
Anything under 3 minutes automatically goes to your shorts, and shorts are viewed that way. They're cut that way. Even if you don't cut it, they'll cut it that way. But a lot of editing tools allow you to just convert them easily. So what I do in Descript is I pull out clips from the full video episode into a new composition, and then I set it as a reel, and it automatically fixes it that way for me, and then I send that to YouTube. So you can do it within your editing software, or you can just download and upload depending on where you're recording.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Miranda.
Any other questions, guys? I'm going through to see if I wrote down anything to ask.
No, this is helpful because what I do is different. I don't do podcasting, so to speak. I do my interviews for my Facebook group, and then some of those people land on my YouTube channel. So the whole idea of subscribing and all that is not a topic or CTA, so to speak. But adding my own little clips and shorts and things like that sounds like that's what will drive the traffic, the subscribers and all that, based on the things that I talk about, the hypnotherapy, the Reiki, the coaching, the mindset, everything that I talk about. So that sounds like something that I need to focus on.
Yeah, and one of my mentors, her name is Amanda Francis, she started out as someone who dropped out of her PhD program to become a life coach. And she really exploded on social media, and she is now on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And her podcast...
I know who you're talking about.
And her podcast is originally just YouTube videos that she stripped the audio and made them podcasts.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Amanda Francis. Her original podcast episodes, the very first seasons, were just stripped audio of her YouTube videos.
Oh.
I don't even think
that's
she...
the thing.
I don't even think she has the whole podcast thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look. Even for podcasters, our interview episodes, are different. And so what it is we can take it, but we can add in those parts of the CTAs and in the front and in the back or anywhere we want. We do it with the audio versions in Buzzsprout. It's called dynamic content. And I can drop in an ad or have a call to action, in the front, beginning, or end. And so we can do the same thing with videos, even if it's not a podcast. Even if it's something you've already recorded, you can add in a 36-second or 60-second of you saying something at the beginning or in the middle of it or wherever you want to. So if we own the content, we can play with it.
Yeah, and your CTAs should always be in your description. That's on the checklist. Your CTAs should always be in the description. People who know YouTube and that they know to go to the description. So even if you don't get to say it, here's the order, right? If you forget to say it, you can edit it and put it on screen. If you don't feel like doing that, then just put it in the description. It's going to be the most impactful if you say it and it's on the screen, but it's not lost because those who really want it are going to go in the description and get it.
Yep. And so it's good. I have a footer I use for YouTube with my most important links, and I just add it to every video because if I don't say one of them in the video, they're still all going to be at the bottom of it.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a podcast just ready to go.
She does. Well, and I want to say this, and you all know, because you've probably heard me say it, I'm not a podcast pusher. Not everyone needs a podcast. But also what podcast means is very wide. I talk about traditional podcasts, which means you have an RSS feed, you have audio only, and you can be found in Apple and Spotify. That's traditional. But there are, I don't know the numbers, huge percentages of people that have podcasts that are not in those places. They're on YouTube or Substack or Spotify for podcasters, only doing the video part, right? So think about podcasts more broadly in terms of any audio or video content that you are providing episodically, serially to people in order to educate, generate leads, etc. So just realize when people say podcast, they could mean one of 100 different things.
Yeah. So many.
And you don't have to call it that, but you still have that type of content.
And it's credibility, right? Like that movie with Vince Vaughn and Sweet Home Alabama, Reese Witherspoon, where they it's a Christmas movie, and they're at one of the family members' house, and and I almost peed my pants when the little boy was like, "Google me, bitch," right? So that's what all of this does for you, is it gives you credibility. It's your as featured on. So I keep a list every year of everywhere that I've been on a podcast, I've been on a summit, anyone's live video that I've been on, anyone's show. I keep a list of all of that because it gives me credibility. So if it comes down between me and another guest, I'm chosen, but it also gives me credibility just overall. It's like a credential, it's bragging rights.
Right. And it's the same thing with guesting. When people have you as a guest, they're saying to their listeners, I trust this person, what they're saying is true. I often have people, whether it's a good reach out or not, start an email with, I saw you on this X&O podcast. I'd love to ask you this. So it's about the credibility and showing your expertise. And it's about, this came up in a podcast interview I did this morning. Yes, we are creating content, but it's not about the content. It's about the connection we are building with the content.
Exactly. It's the exposure, the visibility. It's all of it.
Yep.
That's why I love my job.
We have 2 minutes left. anybody else have questions, you can ask, but I just want to say thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge. I know you gave us a lot.
Thank you for having me.
On top of what you already shared. And so everybody, I put in the chat, I will send it in the follow-up email. Go to the link to get her checklist. That way you'll be added to her list as well. And the Opus link is also there. And I also will include the recording from the networking event. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for showing up live and asking your questions.
Thank you for having me. And if anyone would love to or need of a strategy session, just reach out to me and we can get that booked.
Recording stopped.
Do that. Yay, that was great.
It was. Thank you.
Okay. Once it is processed.